Look at me, the hateful bigot. Um, in On the outskirts of lovely scenic Paju City, South Korea. I'm um, I'm going into the King Kong Baekwajang department store. Baekwajang means department store. It is a department store. Here are the departments, and one of my little rituals is three, 4 times a week I scoot down the road to duck into the King Kong Baekwajang to see if they might have something I'm interested in. And sometimes I get lucky. Sometimes it's a microphone. Sometimes it's even a guitar. Okay, so nothing new here today. Um, they do have this microphone set. I've gotten 2 very good USB microphones from this store. And this is a nice set for less than $20 US. But the microphone has an echo knob on it, and I just balk at echo knobs. This is a circuit that doesn't need to be in there. If I had a proper audio interface, and if I had more money, I might be in the market for this thing. I think this is supposed to approximate a Neumann, the Warm Audio WA87R2. This is a proper microphone. It's got good reviews online. Let's see what they got it for. Where's the price? This one's not cheap. Okay. 560,000 won, so that's less than $500. Still a good price, but I don't have a proper. I do have an interface, but not one that would justify a microphone like that. So I'm sticking with USB mics for the time being. This is a sound bar that has a couple of probably 12AX7 tubes in it. If I had money burning holes in my pockets, I'd probably snap that up. But anyway, where was I? Confessions of a Hateful Bigot. Yeah. So 3, 4 times a week, I haul my bigoted ass down to the King Kong department store. And just, there's a mic stand. Don't need another one of those. Oh, look, they got webcams on sale. Less than $5. But, see, here's where I found my $21 Strat. Walked in and just saw it sitting right there in all its glory. No such luck today. They used to put the microphones over here, but I've been looking at these Kurzweil. They're keyboard headphones, actually. But for like $7 and some change, Kurzweil. Couldn't go wrong. They got white and black, but not today. I need to make my confessions of a hateful bigot. First, I'm going to check the musical instrument section. Okay, no guitars, just violins, and I think that's a clarinet. And probably no. Oh, they got. This is the musical knickknacks box, and sometimes you'll find a tuner in there, sometimes a capo. Yeah, they still have this capo, but I've got enough capos. Okay, so anyways, so I did my little ritual, and now I'm going to go outside and talk about being a hateful bigot. Yesterday, while I was enjoying a absolutely marvelous lunch, Korean barbecue, with good friends, and celebrating my first year of sobriety, I checked my phone and saw that I had received an email from someone who had shown interest and quite a bit of kindness. And we did some work musically together for a brief period. And I knew that this person was quite left-leaning politically. I'm more of a libertarian, live and let live, centrist, right of center, but I consider myself pretty, I don't know, I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm basically libertarian. Don't tell me what to do, what to say, how to think, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. And do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yeah, unless you're a masochist. It doesn't work if you're a masochist. How about do not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. But anyway, I'm just going to take a stroll through the countryside. See, this is where I live. I got this email. This person stating that, and I didn't even read the whole thing. I didn't have to. It just started right off with, I can't work with you anymore because I've watched some more of your videos, and you had this to say and that to say about immigration, and you're a bigot, and I can't work with you anymore. Okay. And, it kind of like, it sucked. I felt like I'm in the seat before the judge, Yeah. I'm a hateful bigot. Right. I wonder if my accusers have ever picked up and moved about halfway across this planet and integrated themselves into a society that is in many ways culturally and linguistically could not get more polar opposite from North American society. Culture, language couldn't get more opposite. The language could not possibly be more diametrically opposed. In many ways, the culture, the thinking, the just everything. I wonder if my accusers have ever moved halfway across the world, integrated themselves into that kind of situation, that kind of society, married into it, become a valued member of the family. Been a pallbearer at their mother-in-law's funeral, as I was the other week. And I don't live in the city, in the urban centers, surrounded by other expats. I go, if I stay in my neighborhood, I can go for months at a time without seeing a single other Western person. Occasionally, I live on the edge of the countryside where there's lots of farms and small cottage industries. And they've got quite a few Pakistanis working out there, not too far from where I live. And that's another story. I'll get to that. You know, they have their wage immigration here too. This is where I live. I wonder if my accusers have ever done anything like what I've done with the last 30 years of my life. You know, gone into a culture that is often alien, confusing, frustrating, at times appalling. And not only learn to accept the people for who they are and what they are, but learn to love them for who they are despite their foibles. And learn to love and respect them as much as my own people halfway around the world, and in some ways more so. Hello, vocal rapper. I don't recognize your name, but please forgive me. I'm not dialoguing right now. This is a bit of a monologue. I've been accused of being a hateful bigot. I am an American expatriate living in South Korea, rural South Korea. I've been here. I first came here 29 years ago. So, you know, so, and you know, I've endured racism here. You know, I've experienced the double-edged sort of racism here. I've been treated like a circus elephant and a trained seal and a dancing monkey, and I've done it on all levels of society. I've been friends with gangsters. I've been friends with senior monks. I've lived in a temple. I've been on television. I've done it all. I'm 15 years into a marriage to a Korean lady, and I still deal with it. And the double-edged sword, it's like sometimes I get preferential treatment because I'm white, you know. But I'm a hateful bigot because I live in a country where I once got in trouble with the law here, but not because I did anything wrong. I did the right thing. I just happened to commit an infraction while I was trying to do the right thing. And they're very technical with the law here. And they're actually quite fair with the law in my experience. The police in Korea are very good in my experience. And they were actually on my side, and they saw that I was trying to do the right thing. And if it had not been for those detectives and a wonderful translator that I had, a devout Christian lady who believed in what I had done and what I was doing and what I was about, I would probably still be in prison on a technicality. But I was told, look, you have to keep your nose clean from now on. Law is the law. And if you get in trouble with the law again, you might get deported. You might have to go back to America. That is called having strong border policy. All right? And so I have been judged and condemned as a hateful bigot, apparently because I made comments in some of my videos that I don't like open border policies along the U.S.-Mexico border. Look, I've been an immigrant for 3 decades. I don't get free money cards. I don't get a free cell phone. I don't get free air tickets. I don't get the right to vote. I don't get any of that. There's a senior center right there. And I could walk over to those old men and hold down a conversation with love and respect. The hateful bigot over here. And see, but it goes even deeper than that. It's more than just politics with me. You see, my hateful, bigoted ass lives in a country that for the last what is it, 72 years has been protected by the United States military. The United States military has kept the wolves from the door in this country since 1953. Since the truce was signed, we're still technically in a state of war, and I live, you know, at the closest point, 5 kilometers from the border with North Korea. I could hear the loudspeakers broadcasting noises over the border late at night. This is where I live, and you know, I have a vested interest in having a strong. I'm amongst the harshest of critics of American foreign policy that you could ever meet. I absolutely, I'm an equal opportunity despiser of things that I despise. I despise what Trump has been doing in the Middle East until very, very recently. I consider him a murderer. I think he has blood on his hands. He bombed innocent people in Yemen, who are the only people on the face of the earth that have the balls to stand up for what's right. All they wanted was humanitarian aid to innocent people that need it, who are getting ethnically cleansed. And they stood up, albeit against international law. They were the ones, the Houthis, the Yemenis were the ones that had the balls to do it. So, you know, it's like there's some common ground between me and the lefties, right? But I don't get credit for that. I'm a hateful bigot over here. So, yeah, I don't believe in murdering anybody. I don't care about the color of skin. I don't care about what kind of religion or spirituality you're into. Sexuality, couldn't care less. My only thing is, don't push it on children. There's someone in my life who's very, very central to my life, very important. More than one, in fact, who is gay, as they say. I kind of would like to have that word back in the English language in its original meaning of happy and joyful. But okay, it's nicer to say gay than homosexual. And you know what? I accept those people for who they are. Not my thing, certainly. You know, and if I see, you know, they like to say born this way. Well, I'm born this way. I can't help I have a neurophysical response. If I see two men French kissing, I have the same neurological response that I would get if I opened the refrigerator and found it full of swarming cockroaches. Neurologically, they're the same. And I can't help it because I was born that way. You get my point, right? Just don't foist it on children. That's why I went to jail here. That's why I got in hot water here. Because I saw the forces of darkness coming at the children. And it sent me into a rage that it's a wonder that I'm still here to make this video right now and show you around my neck of the woods here. You don't hurt children. You don't hurt innocents. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are part of the Rainbow Coalition. I don't care if you're a Catholic priest or a Buddhist monk. I don't care who you are. You don't hurt children. I don't even particularly like children a lot of the time. They annoy me. And they annoy me as much as they delight me. They annoy me and delight me in a roughly equal measure. But that's because I'm a middle-aged man. I'm kind of cranky, and my joints hurt. And when they start squealing, it gets my tinnitus going. but I love them, and I will die to defend them. You don't hurt children. So there's my politics. There's my hateful bigotry. I've lived a life here in a language that you can't even imagine unless you've tried to wrap your mind around it. I still can't, but I get by. You know, and oh yeah, I mentioned that there's a lot of, like Pakistani immigrants. And going out late at night to the convenience store, sometimes I see them sitting outside at the table smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee late at night. And I've joined them. I've had conversations with them from time to time. They're nice enough. But I'll tell you this. There was a time when, it's a long story, but my wife, my Korean wife, I was supposed to pick her up in a very remote location in the deep countryside where she was attending an event, and the doors had been locked, and I got caught in traffic in a summer thunderstorm. And when I swerved around the corner, she told me afterwards, she said, "You were like Batman." Because when I swerved around the corner in my Jeep and I saw her sitting on a rock on a bend in the road, there was a gang of Pakistani men in their native garb, and they were converging on her. And she said she could see it in their eyes. She said, I looked up and I saw them, and I saw the look in their eyes. They were all looking at me, and they were coming at me from both directions, and I knew. She said, I knew this is the end of my life. And I believe her. I guess she's a hateful bigot too, my wife, my Korean wife. She said, you came swerving around the corner like Batman, and I was never so happy in my life to see somebody. And I did. And as soon as I came around the corner and I popped the door open, those Pakistani immigrant guys, they just evaporated as if they were never there. So, and I called the federal police. I called every agency I could think of, and they came to our home, and we gave sworn testimony. And we gave them the exact location, and they said they were going to go and investigate it. Of course, there was nothing they could do about it, but I wanted them to be aware that, with insufficiently, meticulous border control, you can bring in unsavory elements into your society. People with low impulse control, put it that way. And that's not a racial thing. That's a human being thing. And such human beings exist in all races, on all continents of this benighted planet. And it is what it is. And if you live in some kind of Pollyanna universe where number one, you deny that exists, and number two, you turn around and anyone who acknowledges its existence is a hateful bigot. I don't know, maybe we can't do anything musically together. See, I knew this person was very left-leaning, but I thought, well, I'm willing to overlook that. We're not working on an international policy framework here. We're working on a musical project. But so I, the intolerant, hateful bigot, was willing to just overlook any political differences and just hang out with a fellow human being and work on music. But this person from the tolerant left will not stoop to work with me again, because I have ideas about immigration based on actual life experience of being an immigrant for 20, well, I'm just going to call it, 3 decades, basically. So, yeah, this is my Confessions of a Hateful Bigot. This is an interesting park. It's a forest park, and it has, apparently, although I've never actually seen, but I haven't explored it sufficiently, but there are apparently dolmens in there. Dolmens are those kind of Stonehenge looking little things, like 2 vertical slabs of really heavy monolithic stone with a horizontal slab perched on top, kind of like a letter pi, the Greek letter pi. And apparently on a per square kilometer basis, Korea, North and South together, have the most of these dolmens. They're called D-O-L-M-E-N, the most dolmens on the face of the earth. And there's all kinds of theories about their provenance, who built them and why. But none of them are very convincing. I think nobody really has any idea. There are some interesting theories that they date back to like the times of Atlantis and Lemuria. And I've never really looked into it too much, but apparently there are dolmens in that forest there. And so anyways, to the person, to my accuser, to my judge, this is what I have to say. I'm not going to mention your name or even where you're from or even what we were working on. This is my response. Have you ever done this? Have you ever done what I've done? Have you ever actually gone out and not just repeated a bunch of talking points as a part of your virtue signaling repertoire? Have you actually gone out and walked the walk and talked the talk, literally, and lived by now more than half of your life on this earth in a foreign country, amongst a foreign people, in a foreign culture, married into it, prepared to die in it? In fact, now kind of like I'm getting ready for the final phase of my life. And I'm starting to think in terms of the home stretch. This is where I'm going to be put to rest. And I was a pallbearer at my mother-in-law's funeral, just like less than 3 weeks ago. I am a member of a Korean family. My wife is as Korean as they come. My family are as Korean as they come. And I have wrestled and grappled with the immigrant experience in ways that you can't even begin to imagine unless you've gone out and done it. And I'm not talking like, if you've gone out and done it for a year or 2, even 3 years, just gone and taken a teaching job in some country, and you just sort of stay within your bounds, and you take the little studio apartment they give you, and you hang out with the other expats, and you just do your little expat thing in your bubble, and then you go home. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about getting out and mixing it up and actually being as much as possible, because it's never 100. See, you talk about racism. I live in a very racist society, in the sense that I will never, even if I became so fluent in Korean that they could close their eyes and they could not detect one syllable out of place. And they're very particular about that. This weekend performance that I just did, I performed in a traditional Korean restaurant, and I wrote a song in Korean for the occasion 2 nights before. I wrote a song. I thought, well, I'm playing for Korean people. I'm going to write a song in Korean. And I knew that was not going to, the grammar was pretty spot on. But they weren't thoughts or sentences that normal average Korean people would ever say or even think to say. And it went over like a lead balloon. Even if I spoke absolutely flawless Korean, even if I had been born and raised and grew up here and to a blind Korean, I would be absolutely, utterly indistinguishable. If that Korean was blind and then somebody said, hey, you know, the guy you're talking to is he's actually Weigugin. As they say, Gaijin in Japan or Farang in Thailand. Their attitude towards me would change. And that's just the way it is, and I accept it. I accept that. That's part of the deal. That's the way they are. I'm not going to change them. And it does absolutely no good to hold it against them. It doesn't do anybody any good. That's part of the deal. I accept it. So, there it is. This is my apologia. The confessions of the hateful bigot, who just thinks that, you know, the country that keeps communists. I'm brushing with broad strokes here, okay? Let's just be more poetic. The country that has kept the wolves from the door. I want it to have a strong, I don't approve of its foreign policy, but given a choice, I'd rather live under an American system than other systems, as deeply flawed and degenerate as it has become. I just believe in common sense, and you don't hurt innocence. It all comes down to one law, people, basically. Thou shalt not steal. Every other thou shalt not, every other commandment, everything else is just a derivative of don't take what is not given to you. And that includes life, it includes autonomy, and it includes innocence. Especially from beings that are so innocent, they don't even know they're innocent. They have no concept of not being innocent. You don't violate that. I don't care who you are. And I want that country, that highly imperfect country that I hope I never have to live in again, to be honest. But I've got a vested interest in it having a strong military so it can stay here and keep this system going. And I can't be blamed for having that druther. You can't blame me for that. Isn't that a great roof over there? Someday, if I've got enough money in my pocket, although my missus will never go for it, I'm hoping that I can buy a little house like that in the countryside, scoop it up for peanuts, renovate it, and turn it into a studio. And maybe I can get musicians from other countries to come in here and record in my countryside studio in it's called a Hanok house over there. Hanok. Dreams of a hateful bigot. Okay, so my accuser, and sir, I know you're not alone. I know that you're part of a clique, okay? And I promise you, I will not soil your clique anymore with my profane presence. Okay? I will not disrupt your virtue signal programming, even though I was always very polite and very careful not to do it anyway. Back at the King Kong Bekwajum here. I hope you enjoyed the stroll through the Korean countryside here in lovely scenic Paju City, South Korea. once again, there's the King Kong Bekwa Jam, where I got the lovely No Name Stratocaster, which has been such a joy to play. My goodness. Yeah, now I got that off my chest. And sir, if you manage to see this, no, I'm not even going to reply to your email. If I have one innate talent in life, it's for writing. And I don't think that your email merits an expenditure of my energies in my field of talent. So I'm going to let this be my apology, my apologia, from one of my favorite places in this country, the King Kong department store. This has been Lean Bear from lovely scenic Paju City, South Korea. Zane, if you're listening and you tried to call, I'm sorry I had to hang up on you, but I will call you back momentarily. Lean Bear, over and out.